What's up, y'all? This your girl Giggs. Welcome back. This is gonna be day 5 of the Zimmerman trial review. Before I get into what happened today, I want to say that day 3 and day 4, I got a lot of feedback on there. A lot of people felt where I was coming from. A lot of people was just, all over the place with the feedback, which I don't mind negative comments at all. I could be all the apes, all the preciouses, all the Rachel Jeantels in the world. I don't care, as long as I know that I am me and I love me, and that is all that matters. So therefore, if you don't love yourself, the only thing you could do is try to bring somebody else down. So go ahead and hater. Anyways, I want to say second and foremost, because that's what I wanted to say at first. Second and foremost, that there was no way, shape, or form that I was trying to say that Rachel Jeantel was, like, basically a lot of people are trying to say that, okay, I did say she has a learning disability. I did say that she couldn't read cursive. I did say that, she need to speak a little bit more crisp, and she has a very short vocabulary. I was saying all of these things, and unfortunately, some people just hate to hear the truth. All of the things that I was saying was the truth. And it wasn't me bashing her in any shape or form, because I really do feel sorry for her. And I did say that I hope she stayed in school. I did say that. And and I was right. She does have a childlike mind. I mean, I'm just saying what I see, what I observe. So, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to hear the truth. And, it is what it is. It is what it is. And, she did help the case a lot, because no matter all of the other stuff, she did tell us what happened while she was on the phone with Trayvon Martin. Today they did show the mailing area, and the mailing area do look comfortable. I tweeted that and put that on my Facebook. The mailing area do look comfortable enough to wait for rain to stop falling. And Don West's question yesterday to Rachel Jeantel was, what took him so long coming from 7-Eleven to, Riverview Circle? Well, she told him he was waiting up under the mailing area. We saw the picture of the mailing area, and like I said again, it looks comfortable to wait when it's raining. So that's where the time went. Don West. Anyways, they showed pictures of Riverview Circle, like different angles that Officer Smith went in. I'm gonna go all over, the place with the witnesses, because it's just gonna come as it goes. Officer Smith, I couldn't wait till he get on the stand. You know what I'm saying? I heard John Good's testimony today, and I felt like John Good was the only witness that I ever heard say that George Zimmerman was the one on the bottom and Trayvon Martin was the one on the top. He's the only witness so far that I heard say that. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. I seen the pictures of George Zimmerman wounds. Officer Smith showed us, the tape where he took him into the police station, and they took pictures when it was cleaned up and stuff. They showed pictures of George Zimmerman, what he was wearing, and the back of his jacket was clean. I don't get that. I didn't see no grass on the pants. I might want to go ahead and try to Google that picture, but, even if he do have grass on the pants, the back of the jacket was clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, his back had to be on the ground. And I do believe his back was on the ground somewhat, because they tussled and did whatever they did to the concrete, and that's when Trayvon was hitting his head. I believe Trayvon was on top. Trayvon was beating his ass, but somehow George Zimmerman got on top of Trayvon, did the little MMA position, and pow, so that's just what I believe. But I'm waiting to see what, they had the EMT lady come in. They also had a medical doctor or whatever, his medical doctor come in, and I'm just waiting to see what forensics say, which angle was the shot taken. I just want to know, because I know they can put that together to see who was on the bottom. Hopefully the bullet and the forensics of the angles of the bullet and all that would tell us that answer. Other than that, seems like to me every witness that they put on the stand today was kind of like good, not good for the state. It was good for George Zimmerman, because it's all what George Zimmerman said afterwards. Everybody they put on the stand just know what happened after he been shot, other than John Good, who just basically said that whatever he said he saw. And honestly, I just think that it was bullshit. That's just me. I'm just being real. I think it was bullshit. John Good's testimony, he said, his version of what happened that night. He said that he was at home with his wife, you know what I'm saying? They was watching something on TV, and they heard scuffling outside, so they pressed mute. He went to his sliding glass door, and he didn't open the door yet. He just heard scuffling and stuff, and he, made him go outside and look outside. You could see that it was like one body. Just it looked like a dog or something of some sort, because, where most of the people go walk their dog at is right behind his house. That's what he said. So he said he stepped outside, and then he noticed that it was actually somebody on top of someone. He said that it was Trayvon Martin, and he was on top of George Zimmerman, and he heard George Zimmerman yelling out, "Help, help." And so he said that he yelled out that he's calling the police to stop fighting. And say he went back in the house, and that's when he was dialing the number, and that's when he heard the gunshot. Now, this is my thing, and I just want y'all to follow me on this. His testimony said that he yelled out, "Stop fighting," or I'm gonna call the police. I don't know the verbatim of what he yelled out, but it was something in that, area. "Stop fighting," or "I'm gonna call the police." We heard the 911 calls of the help cries, and we heard the 911 calls of the gunshot. It was on the same damn audio. We heard that. Nowhere in between that did we hear somebody say, "Stop fighting," or "I'm gonna call the police." Just think about that, y'all, because John Good said that after somebody said help or whatever, he yelled out, "Stop fighting," or he's gonna call the police. And then, he went back in the house, and while he was dialing, that's when he heard the gunshot. We heard the audio of all of the helps and, the gunshot and stuff. Where was the "stop fighting" in there? Because he stays right there where it happened at. Like, his back porch is right a little bit further from, where his back porch is at, is a little bit further where Trayvon Martin got shot at, y'all. So, wouldn't you think that in another neighbor's 911 phone call that has been recorded, we hear the cries for help, and we hear the gunshot, that we would have heard another voice in there saying, "Stop fighting," or "I'm gonna call the police"? Wouldn't you hear that on the audio? The state's witnesses, a lot of people are asking, do you think they helped George Zimmerman case? I don't know. I think we need to still wait before we make any judgments. You know what I'm saying? I do think that Trayvon Martin was defending himself as well. I know George Zimmerman had to try to defend himself. I mean, we seen the wounds, we seen the paper cuts behind his head. They was like 1 inch or something or whatever. We heard the MET saying that, at first he said he was dizzy. She don't know if someone assisted him to stand up because he thought he was dizzy or anything. She felt that he was calm. Just like another neighbor felt like he was calm, the one who had the flashlight and provided a Walmart plastic bag for them. She said that, his injuries, need to be looked at. And then he did go to his physics. I'm just thinking she's his primary care doctor. So she just went to he just went to his primary care doctor, and they had her on the stand. This was a doctor before the whole thing even went down, and she said that he didn't have any concussions, nothing big and major. His nose wasn't like broke, it was just swollen, and they just told us what his injuries was like and stuff. They didn't really measure. I don't know if they measured the cut on his head or not, but they said it was like approximately 1 inch or whatever. I say it's a paper cut. All I can say is Trayvon Martin did defend himself, and a lot of people feel like George Zimmerman was defending himself, but He's the adult of the situation. He's the adult. He's the oldest one. He's the one with the gun in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the aggressor. Come on now. I understand y'all keep on saying that, it's possible that those wounds are inflicted. Let's just be real here. Self-inflicted. I don't think George Zimmerman, put no self-inflicted wounds on himself. Trayvon Martin was a guy that, from the hood of Miami, where I'm from. I know he know how to fight. And it looks like he beat the hell out of George Zimmerman. So I don't think George Zimmerman, did that to himself. So let's be real. But I do think Trayvon Martin was defending himself. And although George Zimmerman, trained in MMA, whatever, mixed martial arts, he Trayvon Martin got the best of him, and the only position he could put Trayvon Martin in is that what's that position, Kuda? The position, the MMA position.
Ground and pound.
Yeah.
Mounted.
Ground and pound.
Mounted. Yeah.
Ground and pound. Ground and pound. That's an MMA position, and George Zimmerman had to put him in the ground and pound when John Good seen him in that MMA position. So I don't understand why John Good said it was, Trayvon Martin. I don't know. Nobody, like I said, nobody know but, God, Trayvon, and George Zimmerman. But hopefully the ballistics of the gun, once the forensics, like I'm just waiting for someone to say which angle Trayvon got shot. So that way we'll know who was on the bottom. Because ever since John Good came on the stand, he's the only one that I know that said that George Zimmerman was on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? They both profiled each other racially, and it was gonna be a confrontation either way it goes. But it could have been avoided if only George Zimmerman would have listened to the 911 operator when he told him that we don't need you following him, sir. So, I don't think I'm really got anything other to say about day 5 other than, we got a little, input on the injuries of George Zimmerman. He wasn't dizzy, he wasn't shocked at all. He was calm. He told his neighbor to call his wife, and his neighbor was trying to explain to him that he's being arrested, and he interrupted his neighbor and just said, just tell her I just shot somebody. Like he's just trying to say, just tell her that, I'm finna go to the store, pick up something to eat, like it was just something that just wasn't important. Like, I'm finna do this, don't worry about it. I just shot somebody. It was gonna happen anyways. That's just how I felt. I'm trying to think of everything I want to say, because the weekend is coming. My sister's birthday is this weekend. Happy birthday to my sister Nika. Definitely getting fucked up and shit. What else? I think that's it. I've been listening to Judge Alex Ferrera's little PowerPoints. I've been listening to what he had to say about the case. I will start off watching Fox 35. I don't like Corrado, and they put his big nose ass on there. I turned the channel because that shit that he said about the hoodies when it first happened, that shit just, it just took me way the fuck back and shit. So I changed the channel and turned to CNN and stuff. But I do like to hear the other lawyers and judges that are watching this commentary, because it is nice to see from a judge point of view and from another attorney's point of view. You know what I'm saying? So I like to watch to see what they have to say too, because it's important for me, just like it's important for y'all, because anybody's life could have been taken that night. You know what I'm saying? It was just a tragedy waiting to happen, for real. I know I was all over the place, and I don't care how you guys feel about this, but it really just, really didn't do nothing for me for day 5. I just got a few questions answered, like this man just shot this man and just wasn't shocked at all, like let's go have a beer or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about it. They showed his body a couple of times, and I was just like, I just felt for Sabrina Fulton. I really did. I just know that she, you know, I know how it is to lose somebody. Just put it like that. That's been murdered. So, this is your girl Giggs. Bye.
Not real hard.